going to apply some oil. When I make contact, I try to make spreading the oil part of the massage. So I go slow, making little Swedish strokes to apply. Gives me a little more slide along the back. Usually it's a good idea to start with too little. You can always add more. It's a little more difficult to take off. If you ever wind up using too much, you can just have a towel. You put the towel on the back and just blot up some of the lotion you've used. Gonna slide a little bit of hair out of the way. Don't want to get too much oil in there. And side to side along the spine. Nice, soothing, fairly slow strokes. Across the arms. I want a little bit more oil, so I will apply that to my hand first. I'll put a little out across the arms onto the back again. I'm going to be able to slide across the shoulder blades, then out over the triceps, backs of the arms. Always trying to find a way to stack, flow as gracefully as possible. Working over the rotator cuff and the posterior portion. Out over the arms and triceps. Back onto the spine again. Side to side, you can see my hand sliding along that vertebral border, spreading the rhomboids, muscles along the spine, sliding down, heel of hand, right into the small of the lower back, out across, stepping to the side of the table. I'm going to see if I can hook right around the QL. QL stands for quadratus lumborum, which is Latin when you're trying to impress girls at parties. And when you're not, you call it hip hiker, because on one side, it connects the top of the iliac crest, the top of the hips to the ribs, and hikes the hip on one side, shortens. Just allows me to hook and lean. I'm actually bracing the table with my legs so I don't pull on it. I'm gonna slide up the ribs. I can feel my fingers slide around the intercostals. The intercostals are between the ribs. Sliding around here, hooking into the back, around the shoulder blade. Working my way up along the spine, hooked around the shoulder blade. I can ride that up almost into the neck. I guarantee she will not mind if I do that again. Hooking around, feeling the ribs. Everybody's rib cage will be shaped a little different, so you feel as you go. The pressure is not exceedingly deep. It's a good long flowing stroke. Around the shoulder blade, along that vertebral border. Then both palms across the spine, leaning out. Good strokes to do on a table. A little bit of cream. It's just soothing to make skin contact. Makes people feel better. I often think of my grandmother when I do this, because my grandmother was one of the first people out of school that I worked on. Any kind of skin contact, absolutely wonderful. Even though she was older and a little frail. I'm going to hook my thumb and hand right along the spine here. I'm going to reinforce with the other hand so I can slide down. Then I'm going to hook a thumb, and the same, I'm going to support with the other thumb. Trying not to hyperextend. Corrina, you tell me if that's too much pressure. I think not. Feels good. And I'm going to pull to the side I'm on. Big fists. Flat knuckles right along this surface. Sliding along. Some push, but nothing aggressive. Feeling movement in the rib cage. Moving the rib cage is going to move the spine because they're connected. Can move out and down the arm, out across the shoulder blade, over the shoulder joint, again down the arm. Can even traction out the hand, out over the fingers. You can reverse to the opposite side. See if we can get a good camera angle here. It was just sliding along, out of the fingers. Hook and glide. You can lead the heel of both palms up the opposite side of the spine. I'm always trying to do something new in session, maybe something I've never done before, trying to use my body in a different way, trying to figure out how to stack myself to make something not only effective for them, but very easy for me. Reach in and around. I think in here, hook and spread. You'll see that one hand's going one way, the other goes the opposite. Not too much skin pull. Okay. Then I'm going to slide up while the left hand goes over. You'll notice I haven't built up the even forearm yet. Still just working with the hands, moving my way around. Hook in. Then, if I want, I can hook in with the forearm. I'm not putting excessive pressure on the spine. I'm using the broad forearm. So it's like I'm going up, I peak like the peak on a roof, and then slide over to the other side, back and forth, up and down the spine. You have to get used to the terrain you're working on. Everybody's curves of their spine will be slightly different. Because of the shoulder blade, I shift position there. Big and broad forearm, nothing pointy. My first thought was to come over here, slide down with the opposite forearm, out and over. The right hand is working down the forearm and hand, always doubling and tripling up, moving around, figuring out where's the tension at, where does it feel most dense? Hooking the forearm. Sliding up. Broadening. down towards the low back. If you feel like you didn't do it perfectly the first time, it's okay, because you can go back for a second, third, fourth pass. Half of what we do is provide touch. Always remember, you don't have to be a massage therapist to give a great massage to your family and loved ones. Anybody can learn to do it. Even though I sometimes use that anatomical language, it's just to give you more of an idea. It's like a mechanic talking about car parts. If you understand what spark plugs are and how they work, you can buy better spark plugs and you can change them yourself. Little simple maintenance. I know how to change my own oil. However, I pay someone to do it. I could massage myself, but hey, it's more fun when somebody else does the work. Right along the spine. Double heel of hand. You can see that one is sort of reinforcing the other. Sliding across. If I want, I can try the opposite way. Up the spine again. This encourages a little bit of compression of the rib cage. As I'm pressing down, there's some movement there. And I bet it feels really good. And she gives me a big long sigh and a nod and a yes. Making contact. Working around. Think less. Feel more. That's where the good body work and massage comes from. Working out the hand again. And over here, we'll see if I can mimic it from this side. Same basic thing. Out the hand. Hook the forearm on this side, just like before. Usually I'm trying to balance the left and right side. There's just the right amount of cream here that I can slide, but I've still got some grip. If I use too much, it just feels like a slip and slide, like I can't really get any grip. The massage itself isn't as good because I can't really traction skin. It doesn't feel like I'm getting into tissue and muscle. I'm going to hook right along the spine and I'm jostling the arm back and forth. My forearm is right here, right? And I'm jostling this guy. I'm hooking in there and moving that around. Maybe even a little traction. Movement. Use it. Don't fight it. Trying not to be too pointed with the elbow. There's a little bit more towards the lumbar spine there. I'm going to back the pressure off when I slide out. And again. If I don't like the hand grip there, I can always grab at the top of the shoulder and start to jostle that way. Just on the opposite side. Fingers aren't too pointy. There we go. Right along the spine. Rotating the arm through the shoulder again. And down. Then you start to play. You say, hey, what if I go to the other side? Is it possible to go up the other side in the opposite direction? And yes, it is, while my hand goes the opposite way, down the arm. Out across again. Big palm press. Up and down. You can easily see just this little bit of back work. You can get a 30-minute session out of this. Anytime you want, you can take one of these videos, set up a table, and work on your loved one. If you don't have a table, you can follow along and just work on the floor. If you need, you can use several blankets or comforters. You can double, triple them up. Make sure the cat or dog is not going to bother you. And then slowly, you can follow these along. If you have the remote with you, you can pause as you go. Be able to work through these same strokes on a partner. Right into the upper back. We've worked both sides of the back fairly evenly, a little more concentration in the upper back. I want to get into the neck. And to get into the neck, we've already pulled the hair forward. I'm just going to use my fingers. I'm not going to the side, and I'm not going to the front of the neck. I'm hooking just posterior to the side, and then gliding the fingers back this way. If you think about how you would scruff a dog or a cat, it's a similar motion. To be able to pull there, I'm lifting that little bit of hair I'm grabbing up. Hook into here, lift and lengthen. Oh, feel some of that in there. Little bit of movement. I'm gonna work into the base of the skull there. Oh, I'm gonna hook in just on this side at the base of the skull. The fingers are gonna work side to side. The hand's gonna go the opposite direction. Turn the hand to the side and ride right down into the lumbar spine. And I can repeat that about 50 times. She will not fight me. Right there. And to reverse, opposite side, base of the skull. The fingers are right at the base of the skull, around the atlas axis on one side of the spine. Then my hand is going to the opposite side, gliding down. I'm gonna hook right there. A little less side to side. Felt like she wanted a little more compression there. Can turn the hand and glide. Upper back. Gliding down. Then both sides, light compression. Can loop both hands into the traps here. Not too much, Corrina. Okay, we've loosened some of this up. I can actually grab these, start to move her around. A little bit of pull, back and forth. Right into the neck again. If I want to slide, I can right to the base of the skull. If you need a little more space, sometimes if the face rest is lifted too high, they'll have a more pronounced curve here. You would lengthen the neck. You could always adjust the headrest so that their head drops further down. It would lengthen all of this. But I have just enough to be able to slide through there. Provide a little traction to the base of the skull. I'm gonna slide out across the shoulder blades, down on the shoulder blades. You can see all this movement just from that little bit. I'm honoring that. I'm not fighting it. I'm using movement to access deep down to her core, deep down to her spine. When I'm pressing here, this is pulling on pieces of her neck. When I say pieces, I'm talking about tissue. Sliding down both sides of the spine. I'm gonna lift the fingers so I don't hook the sheet. I'm gonna traction right into the lumbar spine, right there. As I go into position, I can turn my head side to side. I'm mobilizing my own shoulders and chest. I'm gonna slide out. His ribs we talked about, I can grab on both sides, same time. Stripping up the back, around the shoulder blades. Do one more. Right up the paraspinals, into the neck, base of the skull, back and forth. These long flowing strokes are nice because they remind Corrina that the base of her skull is connected to her low back. You're making these long fluid motions that increase a sense of integration. They increase a sense of the body being one thing. Reductionism only goes so far. I prefer to work on Corrina, not a bunch of parts. Down the back again. If I want something with a little more oomph, I can hook the knuckles either side of the spine, between the shoulder blades, sliding down. This actually allows me to stretch my forearm, so I'm going to trick her into working on me by lengthening and stretching through my forearms there. I can mobilize my arms any way that feels good. And right there is good on my forearms. Hooking around the ribs again and out across the arms. You can use individual thumbs. We've softened these tissues to this point. So now I can go in. Thumbs that are stacked right along the spine. Feeling your way through. Just get a little more tension in the low back. We did a little more upper. And spend a little more time in the lumbar with thumbs right along the spine. You can switch sides, making sure you don't catch hair. Right into the low back, along the spine. There's a lamina groove. The lamina groove is where the paraspinal muscles sit in this little groove right there, U-shaped. You're sliding right up that guy, right into the lumbar, splitting across the shoulder blades again. Some movement as I move side to side. I'm looking for movement restrictions. Where would we go? We're peeling back the layers, piece by piece, like layers of an onion. Where's the tension at? Not just an intellectual question, feeling. Where's the tension? I think there's still more down here. The thumbs didn't quite get it, so I'm going to come in with a forearm. I'm going to hook deeply into the lumbar spine there. She gives me just that little moan. That is what she wanted. Because when you feel for tension, then you're going to help her unwind it. Let's see if I can switch to the other side without hitting the spine. Might have to change my angle. Right in there. Not too much, Corrina. There we go. Always changing my body position. I don't think it's so bad to slouch periodically as much as it is to be stuck in that same position. I have moved tons in my work. My work is like doing yoga. I move so much. I'm moving, breathing with awareness, changing my posture constantly as I work on someone. Go back to the thumbs, a little more open there. Right through the lumbar, and again. Out across the shoulder blades, down the spine, out the arms, almost made it to the end of the hands, and in the neck again. Let's see if I can get a grip here Give me a gentle squeeze and pinch. And that gentle slide, that thing that was like scruffing a cat, but I got a little more pressure this time. It's going cross fiber, all these muscles in the neck. Right up to the base of the skull, making sure not to pull hair. There we go. Thank you so much, Corrina. You're very welcome. I hope that feels better.